Hey, so let's try out this Ask Me Anything idea. Hopefully it works and hopefully you find it valuable. And I'll keep doing it if people keep asking questions. And if not, then it was an experiment and we learned from it, or I learned from it. So the first question I have, I'll read. How do you progress to being more social, putting yourself out there? This applies obviously to anyone in an undergraduate situation. I'm guessing it's from somebody in first year foundations, because like I said, it's anonymous. But I mean, my best advice to anyone who's at a new school, who's trying to make friends, and who doesn't know very many people is that what you really need to remember is that you are no different than anyone else. It's not like, especially if you're a freshman or especially if you are at a new place, a new class, for example, nobody has more familiarity. So it's not like you're coming at a disadvantage. And I say that because you might be nervous thinking, oh, everybody has friends except me. Nobody has friends usually in a new class or in a new school. Sometimes, people might have met the day before or something to that effect, but it never hurts to go up to somebody and say, "Hi, I'm Chris. What's your name?" It's intimidating, especially if you're introverted, especially if you're shy. I feel like that. I mean, I don't really generally feel comfortable walking up to people and introducing myself, but I also know that if I'm at a conference or if I'm at a place where people are gathering, unless it's a very specific situation, like I'm walking into a place where everyone already knows each other, even so, you can still introduce yourself. But keep in mind, yeah, when you're in your first few weeks of classes, everyone is learning who everyone else is. So it sometimes feels like you're a loner or you're isolated and everyone else has lots of friends. It's totally not true. Everyone is trying to meet people, and so don't be intimidated to just introduce yourself. In fact, if you're watching this, I want you to try to do that today. Today, unless it's really late, then tomorrow, but introduce yourself to some new people. The only people who could react poorly to that are assholes, and in which case you don't want to be friends with them anyway, right? So if you walk up to somebody and say, "Hi, I'm Chris, I'm taking this pop culture class. What made you take this?" Or "I noticed you were doing this," or "That's a cool bag, where did you get it?" Whatever you want to say, nobody's ever going to turn around and be like, "Get the fuck out of here, why are you talking to me?" Unless they have really significant issues of their own, in which case, like I said, good, you don't need to be friends with them. So please don't hesitate to just introduce yourself to people, and especially in undergrad, nobody ever has a bad reaction. I mean, the only bad reactions come from people that you don't want to be friends with. You'll make so many friends that I still remember when I was in undergrad, I went to a few orientation things and I was nervous, everyone else was nervous, and the guy beside me introduced himself. I still remember Michael, and he basically said like, "Hi, I'm Michael. I know nobody knows each other, so I don't know why people are not introducing themselves more," and then we're still friends. It's as easy as that. So don't be intimidated, introduce yourself. In fact, I want you, I command you as your professor, if I'm your professor, I assume I am, say hi and introduce yourself, and I bet you'll make a new friend for maybe your next 4 years, maybe maybe your whole lifetime. Next, where do you buy your suits? I don't know if that's a serious question or not, but it's funny. I started to wear blazers or sports jackets when I started teaching as a PhD student, teaching my first class as a professor or as the official instructor for the class, and I wanted to make sure that I kind of looked authoritative, and before that I never would have worn these things, and then I realized like this does help provide some form of authority. I mean, even if I'm at a conference or something, if I'm wearing a blazer and I put it on and walk into any room, even if it's not for my conference, people treat you a little bit differently. There's this line in a Michael Keaton movie where he plays a journalist, and he says, "Anytime you walk in with a clipboard, it looks like you're supposed to be there and people leave you alone." I think it's somewhat similar with wearing suits and stuff like that. People assume you know what you're doing, whereas if I was wearing a t-shirt, maybe you guys wouldn't treat me as seriously. But when I was poor, as an undergrad and as definitely a grad student, I would go on eBay and try to buy like fancy suits like Hugo Boss and stuff, but used and for a discount on eBay. And I looked like such a buffoon because what I realized is, first of all, these were old-fashioned, and so even though it was a cool brand name, it was like 10 years ago. It was stylish, and so yeah, there's pictures of me when I was like 20, and I have this like huge Hugo Boss suit that I got for $9.99 on eBay or something. My advice, if you're buying clothes, if you're buying especially suits or formal wear, worry about the fit. Don't worry about the brand name. Don't worry about where you get it. That said, I really kind of miss RW & Co., which was a Canadian company. I used to buy stuff there. I actually do buy stuff on different places, but Banana Republic, I guess. Whatever, wherever I can find cheaper stuff, Calvin Klein sometimes. But I would definitely say, if you're interested in buying some stuff, maybe you're doing a more formal event or something, definitely think about the cut, think about the way it fits you. Don't think about the brand name. Nobody really cares about that. So yeah, there's my 2 cents advice. Also, gives you a little bit more authority. So if you're doing a speech for class, don't go all out and wear a tuxedo or something crazy, but it's always a good idea to look slightly more formal than the people that you're presenting for, because it adds an air of authority, which can be helpful. I hope. Maybe you tell me. And then the only other question I have this week is, what's that book with the face on the top shelf of your bookshelf? By which I assume you mean this thing. This is actually a brilliant book called Trance Speakers, Femininity and Authorship in Spiritual Seances, 1850 to 1930, by the brilliant Dr. Massicott, Dr. Claudia Massicott, whom you can take a class with if you're at Young Harris. She's my wife, but she also teaches in English and philosophy, so cool book to check out, maybe buy on Amazon, and keep sending questions and I'll keep answering them as best I can. See ya.